Assalamualaikum everyone. Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajeem. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. In the start of today's lecture, we are going to discuss another important topic, and this topic is about elutrition. So now let's start the topic, and it is very short and very easy. So nothing will be difficult for you in this lecture. So if you have don't subscribe to my channel, then go press the bell icon and also subscribe. Press the subscribe button and also like my videos and share it with your friends and relatives. So let's start the lecture. So in the start of this lecture, we are going to discuss about the definition of lutrization. The definition of lutrization is such as: lutrization is a process in which particles of the fluid move in the direction opposite to the that of sedimentation. So if I simply explain the term elutriation, so it is just the separating technique in which you are going to separate the particles on the base of density. Actually, this process, that if a substance contain, for example, if a beaker and I have substance in it, so in this liquid or in this substance, I have different densities particle. For example, I have more denser particle in it, I have less denser particles also in it. So I have more fatty like particles are also present in that solution. Okay, so as I am drawing here, so you can see that now what will happen after some times, the substances are going to settle down, that the particles which are more denser, they will moving at the bottom. Okay, and the substances which are lighter, they will disperse in your solution. So this is called as elutrition, in which your particles of the fluid move opposite to that of sedimentation. Okay, now your heavy particles having more density will settle down, while the particles having less density will float out. Okay, so this is process is called as elutriation. So the process of separating a substance into the powder into different degree of fitness by stirring a substance with large volume of liquid in insoluble and drawing the liquid at the heights. So आपने क्या करना है, at height पे you have to separate the powder from a liquid. Okay, now we are going to explain this terminology. Now in the gravitational sedimentation, you know what is the gravitational sedimentation? Sedimentation is a process in which particles settle down. Okay, and the sedimentations mean the gravity is exerting a force. Okay, for example, this substance, the gravity exerting force and allowing this substance to settle down at its bottom. Okay, so, in the gravitation sedimentation, the particles will move vertically downward while the fluid travel vertically upward. Okay, your particles, what is happening? Your dense particles move downward, while your fine particles having less density, dense particles move downward, and the fine particles having less density, they move upward. Okay, they will move at in the upward direction. So when they move in the upper direction, then what you will happen, you can separate these fine particle layer from the denser particle layer. Actually, in the preparation of drug, we need find a particular drug material. Okay, for example, in the preparation of various creams, lotions and moisturizers, we need a consistency in which there is no dots like form, in this there is no hard like material. Okay, so we just need a smoothie appearance, no granular appearance. So to obtain this smoothie appearance, we should use the particle of very small size. Okay, if the vertical velocity of fluid is less than the viscosity of the particle, then the particles will move downward. Okay, and if the velocity of the particle is less than the velocity of fluid, then the particles will move upward. Now they are explaining the velocities of the particle as well as velocity of your fluid. If the velocity of your fluid means in the solution, इसकी velocity, अगर इसकी velocity जो है वो less हो, ठीक है, इसकी मैं यूँ लिख देती हूँ, v से वेलोसिटी और वेलोसिटी लिक्विड की, ठीक है, अगर वो कम हो वेलोसिटी ऑफ पार्टिकल से, ठीक है, वो कम हो वेलोसिटी ऑफ पार्टिकल से, तो क्या होगा, आपके पार्टिकल्स विल मूव डाउनवर्ड. तो अगर आपकी वेलोसिटी ऑफ लिक्विड कम हो वेलोसिटी ऑफ पार्टिकल्स से, देन योर पार्टिकल्स क्या जाएंगे, नीचे की तरफ बैठना शुरू हो जाएंगे, ठीक है। अब इसके ऑपोजिट केस होगा अगर वेलोसिटी ऑफ पार्टिकल्स ये कम हो जाए, वेलोसिटी ऑफ लिक्विड जो है वो ज़्यादा हो जाए, तो आपके पार्टिकल्स जो होंगे वो ऊपर की तरफ मूव करना शुरू हो जाएंगे। तो इस तरह से आप इनको सेपरेट कर सकेंगे। In other words, small size particles move upward and large size particle, denser particle move downward. So elutrition is the process of separating particles from the coarse particle. Okay. And the particle size can also be measured by this process, and particle density can also be measured, and we can measure a lot of things from by this method. And we also find out what is the velocity of your fluid and what is the velocity of your particle. So this is the just explanation. Now we see what the apparatus we use. So in every Micellancous process we discuss what the apparatus and what the instrument we are going to use. So in the process of elutriation we use an instrument which is called as elutriator, and it is consist of two types. Okay, what are two types? Gravitational elutriation and centrifugational elutriation. Gravitational elutriation is the process or the term in which fine particles move downward, okay, due to the gravity, due to sedimentational force of gravity, while the lighter particle move upward. ठीक है. Now in the centrifugational, what you have to do, you have to put your liquid in the centrifugational machine and you have to rotate them and you have to rotate them with high centrifugal force. Due to high rotation of centrifugal force, these particles suspended. These particles have too large, they rotate in the direction of flow and then they separate out. So in centrifugal force is allowing the liquid to separate into the layers, okay. And centrifugal electrization, again it is consist of two types, decolorator classifier and shapeless classifier, but you don't have to consider its detail, okay. Now you let's see this diagram. Okay, I have zoomed in for you. So now you have now you are observing in this particle that at the lower part you are obtaining what your coarse particle having high density, and this is the fluid stream in which fluid is going to move out, and your fine particles are observing here and they also moving out from this opening, okay. And a stream is also added up in it so that easily particle separation can be taken out. So heavy and light carotene uses अब इसके बताए गए हैं, हमें क्या बताए गए हैं uses, ठीक है. So heavy and light kaolin can be separated by this process because the particles of heavy kaolin move downward and lighter on upward. It also usually used in the side direction and separating the particles from each other. सो दिस वॉज ऑल अबाउट द elutriation term. आई होप कि आप लोगों को ये समझ में आ गया होगा. इफ़ यू हैव सम कन्फ्यूजन देन यू कैन आस्क मी इन द कमेंट सेक्शन. आई विल आंसर यू टू यू. नाउ जस्ट रिवाइज दिस लेक्चर. सो हमने क्या पढ़ा कि वी सी द डेफिनेशन दैट elutriation the process of separating technique in which you are going to separate your denser particle from the lighter particle, and we're also going to separate the particles on the base of their density, on the base of their volume, on the base of their velocity, and on the base of their shape and size, etc. So now what you have to do, you have to process in which you are separating the fluid from the particle by moving them in the opposite direction, okay. Now in the explanation you will see explain whole the procedure, how the elutriation process is going to be take place, and then in the last you will discuss what is the apparatus for this experiment. Then we see what is the two types of elutriation, gravitational and centrifugal, and I have explained all of these terms to you. And then at the last you will draw the diagram. And the one of the most important thing is that electrician can be done in the home, means in the small scale and in the large scale production. So in the large scale production you will need electriator and different kind of drilling machines and rotator machines, okay na? So but in the home or in the small scale production, you just need a small amount of things. You just need a beaker, put the solution into it, and after some time you will see the particles could be settled down. So So this process is also useful in the small scale production as well as in the large scale production in various kind of industries. But in the industry you will need a specific instrument, you will need a specific procedure to carry out and to produce a whole and bulk amount of a product. Okay, so illustration is very beneficial because it's producing a lot of pharmaceutical products and helping us to produce smoothy appearance creams. So it is really, this technique is really helpful in the preparation of cosmetic products because the cosmetic products lead smoothy appearance. Without the grainy appearance it does not look good and doesn't give the cream a healthful texture. So to obtain a good texture we should use a smoothy appearance. Okay, so thank you very much for watching this video, and thanks for subscribing to my channel and liking my videos. I shall be very thankful for all of my guys who subscribe me and who promotes my channel. And if you promote my channel then it make me happy, and I shall be very thankful for this kind of your actness. And thanks again, and take care of yourself. Allah Hafiz.